What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fresh on Clips. I'm Noah Baskin, and I'm here with.
Luca Kassab. Let's get right into it. Clippers, they're on a two-game win streak. Warrior against the Warriors and the Suns got their record up to 33 and 28. They're fourth in the West right now at the All-Star break. Noah, what are your thoughts on just the whole first half, we'll say, of the Clippers season?
Honestly, I'm not satisfied at all. With the hopes our team has winning a championship contenders, I feel like we could have a better record than 33 and 28. Yes, we've had injuries, but so every team has had injuries.
The NBA has been riddled with injuries this year.
So, I'm not satisfied. Okay, we are the fourth seed. I'm not satisfied with our record, but I'm satisfied with our placement in the seeding. Like I envisioned us a fourth or fifth seed in the beginning of the year in our predictions, I think. Um, but it's crazy that our record is that bad. I feel like our record should be better than it is. What are your thoughts?
Exactly. It's just disappointing because we had such an easy start to the season, and now our 21 remaining games is the second hardest, only to the Sixers. The fact we're only 5 games above 500 right now in a condensed West, where if you lose 2 games, you're dropping from 4 to 9. It's not something you want as a championship contender in most people's eyes.
Yeah.
The
Um,
big thing though is I think that with the way if we had a backup center at the beginning of the year, we have at least 4 or 5 more wins minimum.
I completely agree. Um, Also just reiterating, like the first half of the season, I think the Clippers had the most games in the league. The
Tied
only
with Minnesota and Cleveland.
Yeah, and so after the All-Star break, like our schedule is really like spread out. Like we have like I think we have a week where we play one game, 2 days off, another game, two more days off, a game, and then 3 days off. So
We
like
got two back-to-backs in them, so we get a ton of rest.
yeah. So I think like you said, it's disappointing how easy our schedule was in the beginning and how we didn't like really do anything about that. I feel like we definitely should have more wins.
Agreed, agreed. So back on the Clippers and their new team, we'll say. What are your overall thoughts on Busy Bones Highland, Mason Plumlee, and Eric Gordon through their first 2 games?
Yeah, we heard your thoughts before they played their first two games with the Clippers. I just wanted to start off by saying I think those were very solid acquisitions. Um, of course, I'm gonna miss Luke and of course Reggie. Those were two of my favorite basketball players ever. I'm always gonna love them no matter what team they're on. But I really do like our acquisitions. I think Bones Highland brings like kind of a Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford type like play to our bench, like more scoring to help Norman. Um, Eric Gordon, he's great shooter. He plays better defense than Luke. Um,
Much better.
yeah, which I think what we were lacking in that unit was defense a little bit. So that helps us. And just having a Mason Plumlee is so good. We have not been able to just put another big in for Zoo for what, 4 seasons, like 3 seasons.
Yeah, because I don't really count Trez as a big.
Yeah.
So I guess it's even before that.
Yeah, it's like crazy. I was actually me and you were actually at the first game with the new players. We were actually at the Warriors game. Clippers Warriors. Clippers won. It was just so like crazy when I saw Mason Plumlee checking in. I was like, no way. Like we actually have another center. Like this is so great for us. And I think we've seen it in our 2 wins. I think we've definitely see what the new guys can do for us. And I think we've definitely improved at the trade deadline. What do you think?
Agreed. With Plumlee, 18 minutes a game, seven points, 5.5 rebounds, 3 assists, and half a block. And yesterday that block was big. It wasn't a big block, but it was a matter of you didn't expect him to get that.
Yeah.
Plumlee, as you said, just a needed backup center. But what I love about Plumlee is him and Zoo are such different players, but they both get the job done. They
Yeah.
both get extra possessions and are constantly fighting for boards. But Plumlee's more faster and he's able to switch. He's able to switch better than if Zoo were. And shout out Zoo yesterday for that rip on Book. Never
Yeah.
forgetting that. And Plumlee can push the pace and he doesn't need the same touches in the paint Zoo does. He can create for himself off the dribble better than Zoo can.
Yeah.
With Bones, he's just he's exactly what we thought he'd be. Dude who'll come in, it's a young energy piece, which is what we've been needing because outside of Team Man, we got no energy. And he's going to make boneheaded plays because he's a 22-year-old basketball
Well,
player.
boneheaded plays, bones. Yeah.
Yep. And he's a great catch and shoot guy. And as this season goes on, and as he builds chemistry with the dudes, he's going to get a bigger role. Last thing about Bones, he's a much better rebounder and just off the ball basketball player than we expected. So
Yeah.
any of you Nuggets fans on Twitter who were telling me, "Oh, you're going to hate Bones in a couple weeks." Yeah, screw you. I love Bones.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the youngest guys on our team. Well, he might be the youngest. Um,
Behind Musa, but yeah.
yeah. He I mean, he just needs to mature a lot, and I think the game will slow down for him the more he plays for us. I mean, a new team, young guy. Like he's played great, I think, in his first two games, but he's gonna be so much better after he plays with us for like even 10 games. I just think there'll be so much more improvement. And I'm just so excited what's to come from our bench with our new guys.
Lastly, we forgot Eric Gordon. I did. That's, in my opinion, the biggest surprise of the trade. Usually, when you trade for an older dude who, yes, he's been on the Rockets, so I'm cutting him a bit of slack, but
Yeah.
who it seems as if he's doesn't care as much anymore. Usually, it's just like, why? And I had that reaction, partially due to my bias towards Luke, but Eric Gordon's been the biggest surprise. I didn't think he had much left in the tank, but he's a great catch and shoot shooter. He's so good at attacking the rim. That Suns game yesterday, he had an N1, and he had 7 assists, 0 turnovers because he gets paint touches.
Yeah.
Lastly, I just think that Eric Gordon fits the team better than Luke does due to his versatility. And he's still a good shooter.
Yeah.
Luke's like a top tier shooter. Eric Gordon's a great shooter. And it's not that big of a difference. In my eyes, Eric Gordon's a starter on. He's a starter. Time to put Morris on the bench, start Eric Gordon with Terrence Mann.
I thought you were gonna say start Gordon for Terrence Mann. I was gonna be like, bro, what?
Never.
Yeah, okay.
T-Man, the starter, has to stay forever.
I agree with that. I I mean that's a whole different conversation, but I think it's time for way less Marcus Morris minutes. I mean, even no Marcus Morris minutes playing Roko or anybody.
Exactly. Okay, well, we're talking about yesterday's game. We've been talking about Eric Gordon just as a whole and what
Yeah.
he did yesterday. Aside from Eric Gordon, what are your thoughts on that Suns game yesterday? Yes, they were KD-less, so I'm accounting for that a little bit, but what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah. Okay, while I was watching that game, I was like, wow, they don't even have Kevin Durant. Like, this is crazy. But then I'm also thinking like we don't even know the dynamic yet of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Chris Paul. Like we don't know and Aiton. We don't know how they're gonna mesh together. I mean, I'm sure it'll be great. I mean, Kevin Durant's
I'm
one of
not,
the
I'm
players.
personally, for all the Suns fans out there, I know Chris is tuning in right now. For the Suns, it's not Chris Paul fitting next to KD or Devin Booker fitting next to him. It's DeAndre Ayton having to buy in and play like a physical big man rather
Yeah.
than the soft big man he's been playing like. And he needs to stop jacking mid ranges.
I mean, I even think Chris Paul's gonna have to change the way he plays a little bit.
They're
With
just gonna they'll just play him with the bench unit more and he'll be fine.
yeah. But anyways, about the actual game yesterday. I mean, Terrence Mann played great for us. I think just shows how much he's
He outscored Booker and Chris Paul
yeah.
combined,
Yeah,
26 to 25.
um, you know, I think yesterday was a great step seeing our new players who are all of our new players that we acquired. They were not on the same team, so they've never played with each other either. We didn't have Norman, and we still looked, our bench did not look terrible. So, I think that's yesterday. Basically, what I'm trying to say is yesterday showed signs of a very positive future. If we can continue to grow as a team and learn how each other plays. And I think once we're one cohesive unit with set lineups, I think will be very solid. And I think that does include taking Marcus Morris out. As we saw yesterday, he was getting targeted on defense over and over, and he kept getting scored on. He got a technical at one point because he fouled and he got mad when it was a foul. I think it's time for Marcus Morris. I love Marcus Morris. I used to love him. He's not on defense. I don't know. I think we need to focus on fixing that lineup a little bit.
Okay, let's start with the Marcus Morris stuff. Yes, Mook is a great offensive player when he's hitting shots, but defensively, he's such a target. Booker yesterday targeted him the whole second quarter,
Yeah.
second and third quarter. So you know what Ty Lue did? First time he's ever done this.
I know. I was like,
Benched. He took Morris out with 7:35 left in the third and didn't check him back in.
I know. I was so surprised, but that's what we've been needing all year.
Exactly.
And he, like you said, he hits really great shots. Like he's a great offensive player. But I mean, his defense hurts us so much. It's almost like does it outweigh the offense, which I think it does.
Okay, back to the aside from Morris. Stop. Done hating on Morris for the day. Moke, if you're watching, it's all love. It's all love. But Kawhi
Positive.
Leonard, let's start with Kawhi. He had 0 points at halftime and somehow managed 16 in the second half, and he shot 5 for 18. But regardless, he still made an impact in both halves. He drew attention, he wasn't hitting shots. So the fact that Kawhi wasn't hitting shots and we still won this game is also just a positive sign for this team. Plus, no Norman Powell.
Yeah,
That's between Kawhi having a bad game and Norman Powell being out, that's probably 30 points because Kawhi finished with 16.
I'd say
Probably like
uh,
30 plus a game, just missing off those two. My big thing, though, about this game was the fact that Zoo and Plumlee fought the whole game getting offensive boards.
yeah.
Zoo was getting hacked the entire game. Chris Paul smacking him across the face. Aiden, doesn't matter. This dude still had 13 points and 12 boards. And yes, he got hurt at the end because he fought.
Yeah,
Zoo, I hope you're good, but I know he's tough and he has a week off. He'll be back right as we go.
of course.
Other thing about the PG, 26 points, but that's not what stood out to me. The fact that he had 0 paint touches the first 3 quarters, he had 0 paint shots, and in the fourth quarter by itself, he had 5 paint touches and made 4 of them, helping us secure that win and close it. He
Yeah,
didn't settle the same way he has been all
yeah.
season.
I was gonna say. I mean, I think what the Clippers' biggest problem is, our biggest thing is we hold ourselves back. Like
Exactly.
Paul George, he settles a lot. Kawhi settles a lot. Our
Kawhi
teams are
doesn't settle. He just didn't hit shots yesterday.
okay, not yet.
Kawhi gets to his spots. In general, Kawhi gets to his spots, and it's
Okay, against the Bucks, same for example, on that last shot, we lost by
yeah, but
what?
that's also
That's Kawhi.
Kawhi's not giving that ball up.
Yeah,
That's
I
his
know.
shot.
That's my example of Kawhi forcing it. Like I just think like
He's never giving that ball up, so I'm not mad about that shot.
especially PG though. I mean, he settles a lot, and so yes, like you said, getting in the paint in that fourth quarter, 4 or 5 paint touches, that was great to see. Open the floor for us. That's one of the reasons we won that game.
Last thing about the Suns Clippers game, shout out Eric Gordon holding his own against D Book and holding him to 6 for 16.
Yeah.
Shout out EG. Okay. Well, we've been talking about the Clippers bench, and we've talked about potentially changing the starters.
Yeah.
Reports came out. Russ and the Clippers have talked about a potential signing, and if he were to be signed, he would take the starting point guard spot. Thoughts?
Not a fan of that. Um, don't get me wrong, Russ, he used to be one of my favorite players. He still is. I'm always going for Russ. Like I don't get why he gets so much hate. But I do not want to see him in a Clipper uniform. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him on some contender or some team.
No contender wants him aside from us and the Heat.
But I don't want to see him on our team. I think he'll mess up our chemistry. I think Terrence Mann is doing a great job in the starting point guard role. I
Oh,
don't.
you heard the commentators yesterday. That's
Yeah.
the first time I've ever heard TNT commentators love us, aside from Jim Jackson.
Why do we need to? If we're doing so well, I mean, we could be doing better. I don't want to say so well. If Terrence Mann is being solid in his role, right? Why would we change that? That's what I don't understand. And so if we were to bring in Rust, I would change that, and I think it would mess up our lineups. And I just our team is great right now.
I don't see a spot for Russ on this team.
Who would be benched for Russ is my
It would
question.
end up being Bones.
Yes, and exactly. We don't.
And Bones isn't going to get playoff minutes regardless because he can't defend at all. So then it becomes who else does he take out? Because Bones isn't a. That's between Terrence Mann, Eric Gordon. Then
Yeah, that's why I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. At least with this team that we have configured, I'm not. I don't want it. I just don't.
100% agree. Keep Russ as far away from the Clippers as possible. Yes, PG, I know you love him, and I know he's your boy, but we saw what happened last time you asked for your boy. You get all of your boys on the team, and they don't perform.
Yeah.
Reggie, I love you, but that's just proof right there. Okay? Keep Russ with this group. The spacing yesterday was the best it's been all season, and Russ's lack of shooting isn't going to help.
Yeah.
The fact is, you can't play a lineup of either of Russ and then Zoo or Plumlee because that's two dudes on the court together who can't shoot. Other thing about Russ is he's just too ball dominant and doesn't have a high enough IQ for this team.
Yeah.
He sounds like a better Jay Wall. And
Yeah.
we saw what Jay Wall was. Too many turnovers, stupid shots, and he feels entitled.
Yeah.
We truly want to pick up a point guard, we got to go get P-Bev. Bring him back home. This is his home. Bring him back. 38% from three since December after a rocky start. Better defender and energy for us. Good locker room dude you have. And you can play him in the playoffs depending on the matchup because he will defend and he'll play off the ball. Lawrence Frank, if you get Russell Westbrook, you're going to piss off the whole fan base.
I want to add on to that. I would rather Patrick Beverly also over Russell Westbrook, but I don't think we need Patrick Beverly.
I don't think we need either. But
Yeah.
the thing with Pat Bev is it's clear the Clippers want to pick up another guard,
Yeah.
another veteran guard, and Pat Bev's the best on the market in terms of fit for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Russell Westbrook's a better player, but as for the Clippers, he is not.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well said.
Lastly, Clippers record post All-Star break. 21 games left, 2 back-to-backs. What do we think?
21 games.
And we have a 50 our average opponent win percentage is 53%.
Yeah, I know. We have a really hard schedule. I don't know. I want to say I think
I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first. I'm gonna think about my answer.
I said 15-6. Those 2 back-to-backs in my eyes, which one of them's Kings Warriors and the other one's Lakers Suns. We'll lose to that Suns game and we'll lose one of the Kings or Warriors game due to back-to-back. But if it's Warriors, it truly depends on if Curry's healthy at the time. So in my eyes, that's 2 L's. We have 3 games versus the Grizzlies. We'll lose 1, maybe 2 of those.
Yeah.
And we still have a game versus 2 games against the Pels. That's potentially a loss. I think we lose 1 to the Grizzlies, both the back-to-backs, 1 against the Pels, and then 1 of Nuggets, then 2 of Nuggets, our Nuggets game, our Kings game, and potentially we'll lose to a team like the Blazers just out of nowhere. That's how the Clippers rock.
All right. I'm gonna say 14-7. Like you said, I agree. I think we'll lose both of those back-to-backs. Just assuming Kawhi and Paul George won't play, or especially Kawhi.
It's gonna be Kawhi.
Yeah. I mean, just right out of the All-Star break, we have Sacramento, Denver, Minnesota, Golden State, Sacramento again, Memphis, Toronto, New York.
Big thing though with Golden State is will Curry play?
Yeah, all 10 of those teams are over 500.
I would not say with the Raptors, they're a fake over 500 team.
Okay,
it's just my opinion.
I mean,
they don't deserve to be over 500.
I think we'll beat the Raptors. But so like you said, I mean, the both back-to-backs. I think we play Oklahoma City not like back-to-back days.
We usually find a way to lose to OKC.
Yeah, I'm thinking we might lose one to OKC just for, settling and stuff, which
just because.
Like at this point, I want to be so positive. I think we could go. I don't truly think this, but if you look at our roster, you could probably say the Clippers could go 18-3. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, but it's just knowing, since me and you, we've watched, 99% of Clipper games this year. I just think knowing the team so well and the tendencies we have, I think we'll lose a couple games that we should win, and it's gonna suck and hurt. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with 14-7.
So we got 14-7, 15-6. Hopefully the Kings lose some games.
Yeah.
Get us up to that 3 seed.
Mavericks.
No, but we're above the Mavs and the Suns in the standings.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 teams. As long as we win 1 more game than them, we're fine.
Yeah, true.
So that Suns game, though, the big thing with the Suns game is they may have to force Kawhi to play that back-to-back just for the fact that could determine seeding.
Both Suns games. Or no, we only play the Suns.
We only have 1 left. That's our last game of the year.
Yeah, at 12:30.
I don't like the fact we have the Grizzlies 3 more times, but
you haven't played the Grizzlies here.
Yeah, that means Luke's going to come into LA, put up like 25. We'll go back down to Memphis. He'll put up a solid 18 on 6 for 6 from 3.
Yeah.
I don't want to face that dude 3 times.
Agreed.
Sorry, Jaw. This is Luke's team now.
Yeah, pass the ball to Luke more. Come on.
Yeah, but overall, 15-6, 14-7. Those are respectable records. And if the Clippers finish like that, I'd be satisfied.
Same.
Last thing I'm going to say. Moses Brown, thank you for
Yeah.
being that hard-fighting warrior who lacks skill on the Clippers but played some solid minutes.
Yeah.
Hopefully you go find a team, or you can just go sit in free agency like John Wall will for the rest of his career.
Yeah, I also want to say thank you to Moses. Not the greatest player ever, but I mean, he definitely had some solid playing time for us. Not what we needed, or it is what we needed, but not any Miles Plumlee minutes. But
Miles Plumlee minutes, great.
Bring it in. 5 seconds to go. Tie game. Seatbelts are fastened. Lou Williams for the win. Bingo!
Oh my goodness!
God, he got it! 1 second left. Clippers by 2.
The three for the tie. Oh my goodness! I don't